Hey guys, welcome to Uninfluenced.
Oh, hey guys.
Yeah, we didn't miss them last week. We did a questions and answers still.
I missed you guys last week.
Yeah, but
No, I didn't.
this week we're going to kind of do just a hybrid Q&A and everything, kind of get ramped back up because I ain't gonna lie, we took a break, guys. We're tired. We're old.
That's right.
So
Both. Old and tired.
yeah. So we got a couple of subjects we're going to hit on. Let me get over to that because I'm a dumbass and moved it. Get into this Will Smith slapping Chris Rock thing, and then some dumbass shit Biden says, and then we might get into that budget old Biden did. What the hell you been getting into?
I was gone last week. I was out of town delivering a dog. I'm not going to say where, but did that and got that handled. And so yeah, I was fucking gone all week. So that's why we split the episodes into two separate weeks, what have you. Before we actually get into it, I did want to I wanted to address a comment that was in I think it was the last show that we did where there was a guy. And I want to preface this with, I'm not talking shit. I'm not trying to pick a fight. You're welcome to your opinion. We welcome them, even if they're different from ours, and even if you're taking shots at us, whatever, fucking bring it. But it was to the effect of, like, you cheese dicks, why don't you go drive on the track? That's where skills are important. The street, there's no corners, which doesn't even make any sense. But whatever. I wanted to address that first. Taking one step back, I will say that, yeah, there is a ton of technical expertise on a track, that exists that is different from on the street. To me, I don't look at it as an either or, that there's enough similarities. Driving is ultimately driving. On a track, there's elements of it that are safer in that, you can ascertain or assume that there's not going to be a fucking 2x4 in the middle of a lane. There's not going to be patches of sand or broken glass or some dude fucking, wandering across the street. On the same token, you're also pushing those cars to a way, way higher limit than you are on the street because of the ability to make that assumption. So to me, that kind of evens a lot of things out. I don't know what the stats are on people that, how many people die street racing every year versus people that die in track accidents. I'd love to see what that is, but it needs to be representative of the per capita, the percentage of people that do it versus die doing it, for it to be an apples to apples to comparisons. Anyway, my point is that there's one thing that I will say where I'm going to disagree with you heavily, is that there's a bike race called the Isle of Man TT. I think it's the Isle of Man TT. It's Isle of Man. It's a motorcycle race on the fucking street. There's a bunch of other bikes, and it's a street environment. It's fucking amazing to watch. And if you're going to tell me that those guys, because they're doing it on a street environment, don't have the same level of competency that track riders do, you're out of your fucking mind. And there's also a lot of people, from a car standpoint that drive fast on the street that are far better drivers than anybody else I know, that don't fucking track race, that don't, weekend get together on open track days, what have you, but are super, super competent. The level of skill that you do driving, the discretion that you use while you're driving in terms of when you're pushing it versus when you're not, in conjunction with the capability and the quality from an engineering standpoint and competency of the actual car itself also plays a huge role. Driving the way that we drive sometimes in the cars that we drive them in versus a 17-year-old driving a 2004 Honda Civic at 150, 160 miles an hour is also very different as well. So I would hope that you know us well enough, to know that we're not total fucking dipshits, and we're not irresponsible the way a fucking 19-year-old would be in a lot of ways. There's a time and a place for doing certain things, and there's a time and a place for not. We do use discretion pretty heavily, and I just wanted to throw that out there because I don't want to have us misrepresent what we do, how we do it, when we do it, like we're just a couple of fucking mavericks out there on the fucking Ninja racing the fucking airplane and Top Gun, whatever. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah. And there's times to touch on that a little bit, there's times where one of us will get ahead of the other because the condition to stay behind the other isn't safe.
Yeah.
So, we fall back, we wait till it's safe, and we catch up. The other normally slows down, lets them catch up. And it's just part of it. Like you said, we're not out there being total fucking idiots. We always make sure, I think we change our tires more than the average person does to make sure we're always on fresh tires. Our oil change, our services are done very regular. The cars are maintained perfectly.
I mean, and also paying attention to road conditions, temperature, tire temperature, tire pressure. Like we monitor all that shit both before we drive as well as while we're driving. Like there's certain things that neither of us will do if the temperature isn't at a certain level, or if the tire temperature isn't at a certain level. I won't push the car hard at all unless traffic permits and there's at least 110 degrees in the tires. Plain and simple, because I just fucking know better, and again, those aren't things we usually talk about, and again, maybe that's a poor assumption on our part, but I think that, the point that I'm trying to make is just don't assume that we're out there acting like total fucking assholes, because we're not.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't want to waste the whole fucking hour on it.
Oh, no, we got plenty of time.
Yeah, no, fucking have at it.
It's our show, fuck them. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, I saw that comment, and then the track, I did reply. I think we both replied that we've both been on a track. So it's not like we've never been on a track. We don't know how to drive on a track. And in fact, we'll probably go on a track with some of the cars here this year. Possibly, there are a couple mentioned that we may go on. So that may be coming up.
Yeah. And if we do, you're welcome to come out. How about that?
Yeah. I ain't going to say, but I've had some people in my car that can drive very well and tend to be like, damn it, when I'm done with them. Now, Clint, that motherfucker.
He ain't driving my car.
No.
What's up, Clint?
Yeah.
You can drive my car.
Yeah.
I just don't want to watch it. How about that?
Yeah. Come get your wheels.
And your bike.
Yeah, and your bike. I'll throw in some supplements.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this week, you were gone for a week. You came back. And before we get into the three subjects, I do want to thank you. Saturday, I've had some stuff happen to where haven't been a competent driver. I haven't been a comfortable. I'm still competent and just haven't been comfortable. And we'll get into that in a few weeks why. But we went to an event this weekend, and Mike's here and take the Pista. For one, that car is intimidating to even think of driving. And then I get in it, and I took it 2 miles before when you first got it, drove it around. It was cold, and I didn't want to do much with it. And I was like, this thing's just awesome. Y'all have heard us talk about the Pista a lot. And Mike asked me after, I think I drove about 130 miles Saturday, and he said, so give me your honest opinion on the Pista. And here's my honest opinion on the Pista. That car is you hear Mike talk about it all the time, and even to the point to where I hear him talking about it, I'm like, come on, dude, it's a car. It's good, but it's a fucking car. And my exact words were to him, that car isn't something to be explained. It's only something to be experienced. And that's 100%. Sitting in that car every time, I think I got into it, I would say 5 times. Getting out, getting back in, every time it felt special. It's really weird and hard to explain to you guys, so I'll do the best that I can from a non-owner's perspective. That car, to me, feels like a car that meshes and gels with its owner. Over time, they both become one. So to hear Mike talk about that, I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I've been on the track in the GT3, and I'm like, yeah, that car, I felt that. But it wasn't fast.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel special. It just felt like a shitty glove. It works, but it's just not great.
You mean it felt like some pussy with some sand in it? Is
yes,
that what you're saying?
Exactly. Like you got to keep pulling out and spitting on your shit.
Did you really just say that? Yes, I did.
But the Pista, for those of y'all that haven't really studied it, and you're always like, oh, is this the Pista show? So I'm in a non-owner, not kissing his ass, nothing. That car is literally the perfect fucking car. Is it the fastest car? No. Is it the most exotic car? No. When I got out of the car, I told him there's one fucking thing I would change on that car. And he's like, what? You need to get a Sirius XM satellite subscription. But other than that, it's perfect. Above 100 miles, the radio just goes away. And to me, it's almost perfect because the only noise I wanted to hear at that point was the engine, the tires, the revs, those turbos working.
The whistle from the front splitter, fucking S duct.
Yeah, it was, again, I could sit here, I could use the whole hour and try to sit here and explain to you guys that car. I went home and only one car has ever made me tired after driving. And that car, the adrenaline it gives you, the feeling, the feed and everything, I was a little tired. And it wasn't, I'm tired because I worked for it. I was tired just the adrenaline of driving that fucking car.
Yeah.
And knowing I could give this car everything I have, it's going to take it and laugh at me like, oh, bitch, is that all you got?
Yeah.
It is amazing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. You've obviously hear me talking about it, and I've kept it, over a year now and put 10,000 miles on it almost. And, I'm glad that you spent the time with it because that's where you really get a feeling for a car and how it drives, pushing it at higher speeds and how it handles at higher speeds and all that kind of stuff. And to me, what separates that from everything else, above what you've already mentioned is the ease that with which you can drive it is that it's a lot like some motorcycles versus other ones, Ducati being a good example. I did the review on the one like that. That's a harder bike to ride for somebody that hasn't grown up riding and spent 400,000 miles riding motorcycles from the time I was 5. It's a more emotionally exhausting, but not in an adrenaline way. Like it keeps you on your toes and you have to really fucking pay attention. So there's elements of the ride that you don't enjoy that way. Now it's more rewarding. Similarly, like the McLaren is kind of that way. Is that it's so much fucking car and it's so hard to get grip on it and it's more complicated in terms of the dynamic settings, what's the word I'm looking for? Fucking traction control. Where you need to have that to be able to enjoy it, but to not be too intrusive and kind of conditions that we were talking about of figuring that out. There's just more to it, It feels more like a chore to drive it because you've got to do all these different fucking things and it's just, it's more multitasking kind of when you're driving, whereas the Pista, it's like the first time I drove it, it was just like, dude, I feel at home in this, like I'm a better driver than I am, and it's so forgiving and so compliant and just does what you want it to every time you want it, whether, from a steering and handling standpoint, from a responsiveness of the engine standpoint, like it's just, it's the best way, and I described it, I think this almost immediately when I got it, it's like everything that you want is fingertip accessible all the time. Like no matter what you want to do with it, it's right fucking now, and it just does it. And so few cars are that way. Couple that with, it looks very classy and elegant. It sounds amazing. While it's not the fastest car, it's faster than most.
Oh yeah. And
for a stock car, it's blistering fucking fast. And even having been in cars that were performance metric wise faster, they didn't feel that much faster. And they never have made it feel slow. Like it still feels fast, even though the 765 is a fair bit faster in certain power bands. I drove the Pista today. It does not make it feel like, this isn't as fast or fun. Like it still is every bit as much as it ever was. But anyway,
if the Pista was to get sold today, you guys just know the Pista won its last race against the 765.
Fucking A, it did. Sure did. Well, yeah, but
there's no excuses in racing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I wasn't going to make an excuse. What I was going to say is the neat thing is anybody can go to fucking Las Vegas, to Speed Vegas, and you can rent a Pista and drive it on that track. So, while yes, it's going to cost you some money, I think it's
worth every fucking penny, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think it's. The rental on that I think is $600.
I'd bet that.
For I don't know if it's 3 laps or 5 laps or whatever the fuck it is, but agreed, it's fucking worth it in my opinion. But
normally when I drive someone else's car, I try not to adjust things. I try to leave the mirrors where they are. The seat I'll adjust, and with that one I had to adjust it. But everything else, as we got going and we passed where we normally meet up, it's like the car's like, bitch, get right. So I start adjusting the mirrors and everything, and it's like it starts sucking into you that, hey, bitch, we're fixing to have some fun.
Yeah.
So get ready.
There's a crazy connection to the car that's again, you can't really explain it, and I've not had that feeling in any other car, the 765 included. You know, it's an amazing car, and I'll do a review on it shortly. I've put about 500-600 miles on it so far, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But 600 or 700 miles, I think. So
we need to do a good, true in-car review of the Pista.
Yeah, we'll do both.
Yeah, it's
since you haven't heard about it enough already.
I hope from an in-car perspective, it gives the feel that we're talking about, and I don't think it will, but I think it's really close. Like I said, I had to thank him over and over and again. Thank you, that fucking thing.
Hell yeah.
It's I've drove one other car in my life, and I told him this, and it was the Performante, the stock Performante that was just as good. The supercharged VF Performante, mine having different suspension is fucking great. And what's similar, both cars, they're not the fastest cars either of us have ever driven.
Yeah.
But they don't feel like it. They feel perfect.
Yeah, they're just balanced. You know, it's the best way to.
What is it, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, where you got the hot, the cold, and then the just right porridge? Yeah. I mean, if you could.
I love that. That's the. The analogy you're following.
That's what all of us have heard. You got so in this realm of cars we've owned, you have this class that's just very fast, which would be the McLarens, the 720s, the 765, the twin turboed R8, and I would say that's in the too hot category.
Yeah.
Then you got the stuff over here that were really good cars still. You got the 911s, the things like that. They're really good still. There's something about them that's just not there, so it puts them in this cold category.
Yeah.
And then you have these two cars, and it's amazing. And again, I'll say it, I wouldn't want to own it, but I still want to review and drive an SVJ.
Yeah.
But to know the difference, I'd almost have to drive another Aventador, to know if that difference is there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? While it's not my choice in car, sound, performance, and everything else, I'd love to see if it has that jump like the 488 versus the Pista, the regular Huracan versus the Performante. I'd love to see if it gets in that small window category.
Yeah.
So if any of you Lamborghini guys that I haven't pissed off yet want to let us review your cars, or hell, take us for a ride and let us see. And no, I'm not talking about the Huracans. Calm down. We've owned the Huracans. It'd have to be the Aventadors. Hey, Billy, shut up over there.
Yeah, Tommy, what the fuck?
Fucking over there giggling and shit like a little fucking girl.
Yeah, speaking of Goldilocks, the fuck? James, what's going on with you today?
Yeah. So, let's get into this fucking a dude slapping another dude.
Yeah.
So we're going to be a couple days behind. I know everybody's quick they all went to social media and stuff as fast as they could, but I've kind of analyzed that a little bit more. I want to get to that on the back side of this. But so we got Chris Rock, arguably one of the funniest comedians of our time, to sit up there and, I mean, just talk shit about everybody, and I love it.
And notoriously one of the most edgy, so you wouldn't be surprised that he would say some shit that's controversial.
Yeah.
You know, but
on the edge there. So he makes a joke. The funny part is, if you watch it, everybody's probably seen it. He makes a joke about G.I. Jane 2 and all that stuff, and then he gets the shit slapped out of him by Will Smith. But the funny part is, have you watched this a bunch?
not a bunch. I've seen it. I mean, I've watched it a few times.
But
I jerked off to it earlier.
Yeah.
Lord! Jada, I love you. G.I. Jane 2, can't wait to see it. All right? That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
Keep my wife's name out out your fucking mouth.
Wow, dude.
Yes.
It was a G.I. Jane jump.
Keep my wife's name out your fucking mouth.
I'm going to, okay?
The crazy part is Will Smith's laughing. He's laughing like a motherfucker till you see her make that face.
Yeah, I think he looked over at his wife and was like, "Oh shit."
Oh yeah, that shit was funny, bro. But
I wish they would do like a slow-mo cut of the actual strike, because that'll tell you, how real it is or not.
yeah, so
I still haven't seen either a picture where it's freeze framed where his hand is actually on his face, or a slow-mo version, which I think maybe tells you, whether or not it was kind of staged or not. I don't know if it was or not, but
we're going to get into that on the backside because I have seen some different stuff on that.
yeah.
The funny part is Jada Pinkett Smith has publicly came out and said she fucked around on her husband, took the dude she was fucking around on her husband with to other award shows and shit like that. But it's a G.I. Jane thing that gets this dude slapped.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you need to go handle your business other places.
Yeah.
And one of the funniest memes I saw was Jada with the boyfriend, and the boyfriend putting, "Thanks, Will, for not letting anybody talk shit about my girlfriend like that."
That's fucked up.
It's like, yeah, that's fucked up. But apparently, I don't know if it says it in this, during the filming of G.I. Jane, the original, Demi Moore was cheating on her husband at the time, too.
Oh, really?
So it's like it's a double-edged sword of what happened in that comment.
Oh, that's a trip.
And, yeah, and then another thing, Chris Rock in 2016 made fun of the Smiths for missing the Oscars because the Oscars at that point were too white, so they didn't show up. So that goes into that. But as the day went on today, so we're filming this on Monday. You guys will see it on Wednesday. People did slow it down. And Chris Rock, hand stays behind his back, and he leans forward to a point to where if I know some shit's coming, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lean forward and take it. You know what I mean? Kind of open up. But if I don't know it's coming, your reaction's going to be to throw your hands up.
Or at least lean back.
Yeah.
I would think.
But none of that happened.
Yeah.
None of that happened. And when you look, when the slowdown, when he's walking off the stage, Will Smith, he's got a big smile on his face. And then it's like, man, stage or not, I mean, the Oscar sucks.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to interrupt you. Keep going.
Well, they kind of needed this for ratings. They needed something.
Yeah. I mean, they sure weren't getting it done on their own. To me, all of the other kind of extenuating circumstances aside, her fucking around on him, to me, that's kind of irrelevant. I look at it almost like judicially that way, and that, I mean, I've talked about this with the George Floyd stuff or fucking anything, is that, what's at hand principle wise is what happened there in the moment, and for me, the only real problem I have with any of it, and this is whether it's staged or not or whatever, it doesn't really matter to me, because even if it's staged, like, they're not saying it was. Mm-hmm. So if they're representing it as being real, then it needs to be dealt with as though it was real. And yeah, I mean, like, it's hard to tell, trying to slow it down, but here, here's my overall take on it, is that, what pisses me off about any of it is just the inconsistency.
Yeah.
Societally, as an example, is that when we live in a world where you hear phrases like words are violence, right? Silence is violence. Mm-hmm. In Canada, people are getting arrested for not calling people by their preferred pronouns. Mm-hmm. Like, so to have a society that condones that and says, yeah, that's fine, or we'll let that happen, where statements like silence is violence and just saying something is enough to be arrested for assault. But then when somebody walks up and actually open hand slaps the fuck out of somebody on TV, live, real time, in front of everybody, and, he wasn't kicked out, mm-hmm. He wasn't arrested, no charges have been filed, like, and this is something where, whether he charges or files charges or not, like the fact is assault still took place. Like everybody saw it, and the police have done nothing about it. Now, I want to preface this with I'm fine with that, actually. Like, I don't mind living in a world. In fact, if I had to pick one over the other, I would absolutely prefer a world where if you run your fucking mouth, the real chance exists that you're going to get the fuck slapped out of you for going over a certain line. I'm totally okay with that. But if that's okay, then it's all okay. Not you can get arrested for not calling somebody ma'am when they're a fucking dude, but you can slap the fuck out of somebody and that's fine. Like, that's bullshit, you know? So it just, I wish society would make their fucking mind up and, you know, and would just be consistent with shit. Like, it's either okay or it's not okay. I would rather it be okay because I think there'd be a lot less shit talking and trolling and, you know, and this, you know, fiddle fuck fighting over microaggressions and all the dumb bullshit that takes place. But don't be okay with this and then have a problem with all of the rest of the semantic bullshit that takes place day in, day out, and you know, call things microaggressions and violence and what have you.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And there's been a lot of funny memes and shit.
I mean, you can't fucking...
Yeah, you can't
pull your head out from under a rock and not see some company with a meme of that fucking slap and them throwing fucking taglines onto it. But
you saw the UGR one?
I haven't. But
Yeah.
I mean, I've been busy as fuck today. I haven't been online hardly at all.
You got to learn to fuck off more.
I know it. Soon.
But yeah, I agree with you. I think there should be that window to where if someone says some shit, you should be able to deal with them. Not go shoot them, not stab them, but the chance of you getting punched in the fucking mouth for running your mouth are there.
Yeah.
And
yeah, like just if that's going to be the case, then everything's all right, you know.
Yeah.
But
and I totally agree. Yeah, someone talks shit. That's the thing nowadays. You got to watch what you say, or you got to watch what you do if someone says something, because your ass can go to jail for some stupid shit that did when we were kids. You could just deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, so take as an example, like in the same city, right? Mm-hmm. Over the last 2 years, people have been handcuffed and fucking arrested for not wearing a mask. Mm-hmm. But you can slap the fuck out of somebody and hey, no problem. Like to me, that's fucking absurd.
To be fair, he is a legend. He's in a movie that says he is a legend.
He even says he is a legend.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, it's just like, well, so, you know, imagine Chris Rock is on stage doing a bit, right? And sometimes there's hecklers, you know, or they just pick people out of the crowd and make fun. Like, that dude's ugly as fuck. And it's like, imagine he makes fun of somebody in the crowd, just a normal citizen, and he gets up, goes up on stage and slaps the fuck out of him. You think
going to jail.
There's no think for 100% that motherfucker is in handcuffs and in jail, you know? So, yeah, I mean, like Hollywood is, I mean, it's not like it's a surprise that they're hypocritic and, you know, a bunch of two-faced fucking assholes that are pretentious, and, you know, even the amount of time we've spent talking about them is more than they deserve. But, you know, it shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody that there's a bunch of hypocrisy brewing out of the Oscars as usual.
Yeah. Let's get into some more craziness.
What you got?
Your boy Joe, old Joe, giving his speech.
Oh, God.
Did you hear about this?
Yeah. That guy, fucking Christ. He can't stop from stepping on his own dick.
I've said it before, and some people get upset about it, and some people, what do you like that the Democrats do, blah, blah, blah. You took what I said out of context when I said there are some things I think we need a new party to where there's the best of both. I think we had a president before that tweeted too much. I mean, most people would agree with that, and he'd probably be the president now if he would have shut the fuck up. And then we got this fucking idiot. Putin cannot remain in power. You just can't say that when we're sitting here trying to keep our fucking noses out of it and shit like that, and we're telling everybody we don't care what happens, let Putin do his thing, run your country, just get the fuck out. And then you get this dipshit. Putin cannot remain in power.
Yeah, I mean, to me, again, I said this on the last mic drop I did, is that, kind of similarly, like, just fucking pick something. Like, you're either trying to save Ukraine from Russia, or you're not. Like, if you are, then do that and go full tilt. If you're not, then stay the fuck out of it and wash your hands of it, the same way we do with 90% of the other things that go on this planet, and we don't do a fucking thing about, and don't even cover in the media. Mm-hmm. There's half a dozen countries in sub-Saharan Africa that the same type of shit has taken place that isn't even on the news. Nobody fucking mentions, or there's not reporters there showing videos of what's taking place, and it's no less traumatic or fucking terrible. We're just not talking about it. There's a lot of shit going on all over the world right now, that's akin to what's taking place that we don't talk about or do anything about, frankly. So, but agreed, like, you can't say shit like that and expect, there to be no blowback or consequences. And I think the disconnect that exists between the rest of the administration and this dipshit, when he gets in front of a microphone, I mean, the bitch of it is that the vice president isn't any better. I mean, she's every bit as fucking terrible as he is, just in a different way. But she steps on her tits regularly. Mm-hmm. And, so the two of them, I mean, it's fucking Dumb and Dumber. Like, I mean, I feel like it's a Saturday Night Live skit watching the two of them fucking talk.
And they do dress like them.
I mean, it's fucking terrible, but, yeah, I mean, like, it's just, the guy's got his head buried in his ass, and, and I feel like every time he gets up and talks, the rest of his fucking administration is tap dancing around and walking things back and trying to, appease the people that he insulted or contradicted or whatever. And it's just, God damn, it makes us look like idiots.
Yeah. And again, I said it before. I thought the country was doing great under the last administration. The problem was he just didn't shut the fuck up in Twitter and shit like that. And I get it, free speech, all that good stuff. 100% get it, but you're the leader of the free world. Sometimes you just got to bite your tongue a little bit.
I think most times, without a doubt, especially in positions like that, less is way fucking more. Mm-hmm. The less you talk and the more stoic and emotionally fucking balanced and stable you are, the more effective you are, plain and simple. Mm-hmm. And if you reflect and show that you're unflappable and that no matter what happens, nothing can piss you off, that's a hard motherfucker to deal with. Yeah. I mean, that's something that I'll openly admit I'm guilty of in some aspects of my personal life, in some instances where my emotions get the better of me and I don't stay as calm as I would like. But for the president of the United States, like, if there is one fucking thing that dude needs to be able to do, and I will give credit where it's due, Obama was a fucking master at that. Like, the dude was never ruffled, ever, mm-hmm. And that's important. I mean, plain and simple it is. Like, when you're on the world stage, you gotta be able to have a serious fucking poker hand and never let anybody know what the fuck you're thinking or what you're about to do, or that what they're doing is getting under your skin or whatever. And yes, Biden is not great at that. Trump was fucking terrible at it. I mean, he wore his emotions on his fucking sleeve worse than probably anybody I've seen in my lifetime in a position like that. And it bit him in the ass, enormously so, it's just not smart.
Yeah. You know what's going to come of this. They're Democrats. Mm-hmm. They're fucking Democrats. Mike and Matt, they're Democrats. Shut the fuck up.
I don't know. I mean, to me, I don't know what's democratically fucking benefit or not beneficial, but what's complimentary from a Democrat. I mean, I'm not a Democrat. No. I wouldn't say I'm a staunch Republican, but if I had to pick one party over the other in terms of what I lean more towards, it's more towards Republican, but there are a lot of social issues that I lean more Democratic on. But, party-wise, Libertarian is overwhelmingly more what I would say I identify with, far more than anything else. But
yeah, no, I agree. And I've opened my eyes more to that, especially the older I get and wanting to read.
Yeah.
I remember growing up and seeing my parents watching the news.
Yeah.
And it's always the political shit. And I'm like, why in the fuck are you? Man, there's Wheel of Fortune on. There's all kinds of other shit.
Pat motherfucking Sajak.
Yeah,
Alex Trebek.
Look at Vanna White's ass real quick when she's flipping those letters. Yeah. But then you got, as I get older, I fucking understand it. You know, and one thing, raising my daughter, I was not one of them people who pushed my beliefs on her because I wanted her to be able to grow up and do whatever she wanted. Does that mean I totally disagree with things she does? No, but there's going to be shit she does that I disagree with, but she's going to either learn from it or grow from it, and I'm just here to support her.
Yeah.
Because that's part of raising an adult, you know.
Yeah, I agree. You know, with mine, I always like to, you know, whatever their position is on something, I like to have them explain why.
Question it. Yeah.
Yeah, just tell me why you feel that way, and it needs to be more in depth than, well, because so and so said this, or because he's an asshole. I mean, whatever it is that, you know, tell me why you feel that way.
Yeah.
And there have been times where we've just agreed to disagree on certain things, and I'm not trying to change their mind. And I think it's important to be that way because you're right. I think you got to let them grow up and be their own people and facilitate that. Don't try to hinder it or shape it. Facilitate it.
I say this to a lot of people when it comes to political views, and I've said it multiple times on here. At the end of the day, we vote so many times out of our lifetime, but we have to live neighbor to neighbor the rest of that time.
Yeah.
So just because I don't agree with your yard sign, don't mean I'm going to fuck that person. Now, if you come out and say some really just off the wall, fucked up shit that there's no way in hell I'm going to ever agree with you, yeah, you know, that's different. But for the most part, we got to, as people, remember, these are our neighbors. Whether we like some of the yard signs, some of the shit they do, we still got to live with them.
I don't get the yard sign. I think we may have talked about this when we first got started during the election time when we were going, is that, I mean, to me, yard signs make no sense. Number one, they're just a huge waste, right?
Yeah.
But more importantly is that when was the last time you ever saw one and you're like, you know what? Now that I see that sign in that house, that's the motherfucker I need to vote for. Like, never. No. It's never had that impact.
No.
You know, the only thing it does is divide people, frankly. It's like, oh, that prick likes so-and-so, or, oh, I bet he's a fucking good dude. But, I mean, like, it's not swaying your opinion.
Well, it has a couple times. I've pulled up and seen a Republican sign in a yard. I'm like, motherfucker.
I mean, swaying your opinion of the candidate.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
I mean, it's not, you know, like all it does is divide neighborhoods, you know, and I mean, it's just fucking, it's counterproductive and stupid.
But the way our political system is designed, is that the reason we have yard signs now?
I have no doubt that that's a big component of it. I mean, to me, if you want some election reform, fucking ban yard signs. You ban everything else, fucking ban yard signs.
Yeah. Plus, it looks tacky in your fucking yard. Especially the ones who get really excited and put like 16 yard signs, but their yard's only like a 10 foot by 20 foot fucking section.
And then you got people fucking with them because they, you know, they hate somebody so bad that they're ripping signs out or fucking burning them or pissing on them. I mean, it's just fucking stupid.
Yeah, we had neighbors who, one person put out a yard sign, so this one, and they started facing them towards each other. Like, what the fuck, are they about to duel?
Like a pissing contest.
Yeah, it's
just stupid.
Fucking grow up. Well, you're teaching your kids that shit.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing right now. Teaching your kids how to be fucking fucked up.
Yeah.
Let me see. As I told y'all, we're going to get into some questions too, so let me check where we're at. I probably didn't start the timer. I'm still at 339 hours. Let's skip the, I was going to get into the budget shit, but that's 2023. We got plenty of time to get into the 2023 budget. Let's get into some fun shit, some questions.
That's right.
From our badass audience. Yeah, and there's a few people on there that post, what do we have to do, become Patreons for y'all to respond to our questions. For one, if your questions are only statements, I'm not going to respond to a statement that's just there. You made your statement. Okay, cool. I don't have to agree or disagree, like it or heart it. It's okay. That's your statement. One of them was, Mike asked, what's colder than freezing? Well, 31 degrees. Bitch, it's a fucking saying. Shut up. Fucking people are, you'll listen to an hour-long show and find that one fucking thing.
Yeah.
Oh, got him.
Yeah. I trick fucked him.
Got him. Because this is our homie right here. We're not going to say the name, but she's going to know. This question came through. Matt, how did you learn to fix and customize cars? Seems kind of scary to tear apart an expensive vehicle, but you sound like it's fun for you. How did that come about? Any funny stories related to that you can share? Oh man, some of the stories I got with messing with cars. The producer we have now, that's how I met him, messing with cars. Hell, Mike, that's how we met, messing with cars and the love of cars. But how did I get into cars, tearing them apart? As a kid, I would take apart things. My dad's things, my brother's things. I'd take them apart. And there were some things I'd put back together and leave parts out on purpose just so they wouldn't fucking work. And you're welcome, my stepbrother. There were some parts I'd go hide in my dad's toolbox. So he'd know that I knew where the part was, but I knew that shit was never going to work again without this part.
That's awesome.
And my dad thought that shit was funny. But it got into tearing some of our cars. I take them apart. And I'm not scared. And I think that's what makes it to where I don't mess them up, is because I'm not scared. If you go into something scared with anything in life, sometimes if you go in scared, you're going to fuck it up. Now, if you go in unscared, you may still mess it up, but nowhere near as bad as trying to do everything with kid gloves. It's just something I love doing with our bikes. Mainly my bikes, I take them apart, put them back together. Hell, the first day I had the Hayabusa, I think I had that bitch pretty much down, plastics off, ready to go with for the exhaust. It's just fun. How did I get into it? That's how I got into it, taking apart radios and lawnmowers, stuff like that. Funny stories. Mainly just meeting people. I've met my wife that way.
I think taking your brother and dad shit apart and putting it together half-assed is kind of funny, but
yeah, I don't really want to get into the how I met my wife. That's a funny story, but it has to do with cars. Hell, how I tore up my elbows messing with a car. How I wrecked a motorcycle. Well, that was me fucking with shit.
yeah.
Shit, I should have just left stock so I wouldn't have been out street racing doing stupid shit. I just enjoy it, honestly. When I go in the garage, it's a different thing for me. And I've told Mike this. Anybody who knows, I don't want to be really left alone when I'm in the garage. I love sitting there bullshitting while I'm taking things apart. That actually helps me not fuck up as much because I'm focused on this shit, not thinking about fucking up because I'm talking too. I just enjoy it. It takes my mind off all the bullshit stress I have because at that time it's like golf for me. Only thing I got to worry about is that fucking car. It's weird. It's stress relieving to take a $300,000 to $500,000 car and take shit apart.
Yeah.
And just be like, hope it goes back together.
Yeah. Not for me, which is why I don't do it.
Yeah.
But
there are times where I put some extra screws in my pocket and don't tell anybody on mine. The next question's all about you, Mike.
all right, Mike, will a dog bite if it's wagging its tail? For example, I'm out walking in my neighborhood and I'm approached by a dog not tied from its backyard. If he's wagging his tail and seems friendly, am I okay? I've never been bitten by a dog and would like to keep it that way. What could I look for in his body language to let me know if it's time to keep away? Will a dog bite if his tail is wagging? Yes, or it can. Excuse me. The question isn't what's making me yawn. So there are times where even when a dog is wagging its tail that it will absolutely still bite you. The thing with body language is context also plays a big role. And by that, I mean, like in this example, if the dog is loose, not behind a barrier of some sort and comes all the way up to you and is wagging its tail, you probably are okay. I will caveat that with, I still wouldn't interact with it. And in your last question of what could I look for in his body language to let me know if it's time to keep away, if it's not your dog, and the owner's not present, or frankly, even if the owner is present in most cases, it's still time to keep away. I don't ever interact with dogs that aren't mine, that I don't need to interact with. And I do that for a very specific reason, is that bad things aren't going to happen if I don't do that. I see a very common problem with a lot of people. It's like they have a dog or they love dogs, and so they see a dog and it's like, well, I want to pet him and I want to interact with him and I want to be buddy with him and whatever, and there's no reason to do that. When most people get bit, it's because the dog gave off a very subtle element of body language that it was uncomfortable, and you kept pushing it, and then it ends up fucking biting you. That won't happen if you don't fuck with strange dogs that aren't yours. It's very, very rare for a dog to offensively go and bite somebody that's completely fucking ignoring them. Does it or can it happen? Yes, but it's very rare. And even in that case, I would turn around and very stoically and calmly kind of bow up to the dog, not go try to pick a fight with him, but just exude that, like, dude, I don't fucking sweat you one bit, and stare him down and just stand there and hold your ground and not run from him. Don't charge him. Don't try to pick a fight. Just be like, dude, I'm not fucking scared of you. And then just ignore him, fucking leave him alone and casually leave. That's your best bet for, a dog that comes up to you loose. If it's a dog that otherwise seems relatively friendly, just completely fucking ignore him. That's your best bet. So often people make the mistake of, it's like, well, I love dogs and, I'm good with them, so I should be able to pet this dog. And it's like, I like ass and titties. I don't walk around just grabbing them, when they're not mine, and I think it's the same thing with a dog. It's just stop fucking with them. That's my take.
Yeah.
The bonus question, what's the best kind of cake? Obviously it's chocolate, but if either of you wants to be wrong, that's okay. I like how you worded that. For me, it's probably red velvet with a really fucking thick cream cheese frosting. It's probably my favorite.
You know what's fucked up?
What?
I argue with my daughter that red velvet is chocolate cake.
Is that right?
It is.
All
The
right.
food coloring. That's some bullshit.
I mean, so I guess we're on the same page. I like red colored chocolate cake.
Yeah, that's some fucking bullshit. I argued with her. That's one of the things we actually argued about.
Is that right?
Yeah.
It's worth arguing about.
It's fucking cake. Damn right that's worth arguing about. Mine's German chocolate cake or carrot cake. I just like nuts in my mouth.
Yeah.
That's, I mean,
What are you doing later?
yeah, exactly.
Producer Billy Joe Bob. I love it.
I like that shit. What popular business advice do you disagree with? Why, and what is better advice?
To me, it's hard to pick popular business advice because, God damn it, it seems like there's so much of it out there and a lot of it contradicts itself. If I had to pick one, or I guess the first thing that comes to mind is to just fucking go with it, is to like pick something and just have at it. And while I will say grit and determination and drive and not giving up is crucial, you also have to know when to pivot. Pivoting is not giving up. It's exactly that. It's pivoting. And I think for me, that's the biggest thing, is that I think a lot of times people hear, oh man, you got to fucking grind it out. And like they pick something that's a bad idea that has a shitty low customer base and terrible margins and not a high demand, and it's not that great of an idea or whatever, but for whatever, they are passionate about it, and they just run themselves into the fucking ground on that and never, realize, okay, hey, this isn't working. I need to make some changes. So my advice would be, look at the market cap in terms of customer base, the demand for it, and whether or not your product is a solution to a problem that exists. Like from an idea standpoint, to me, all of those things need to be present. Is that there's got to be a potential for a good number of customers. The product margin wise, there needs to be, an ability to actually be profitable. And then lastly, and probably most importantly, is that you've got to provide a solution to a problem. It can't just be like, well, this is a good idea, let me fucking try to make a product out of this. Like there has to be something that people struggle with that you're saying, this is what's going to fix that. And then ultimately, like knowing when to and being willing to make some changes and pivot, even if it's within the same industry, just know when to keep moving.
I'm going to just have to agree with that. That's really good advice. I mean, the only thing I know is a lot of people say you never know if you're going to be successful till you try it. Well, a lot of people try it too soon without kind of tying into what you said. A lot of people try it without any research.
Yeah.
You know, or you just piggybacking off something that's already so successful that it's going to be hard to move and direct into making your own money.
Yeah.
And I almost laughed when you said pivot that many times. It reminded me of Friends when they're like, pivot. You ever seen that?
I haven't seen that
They're
one.
moving a couch. All these people know. What is the best leadership or life advice you have received?
For me, it's one word: accountability.
Yeah.
And I will just say it's that fucking simple. Is just own up to your shit.
Yeah, that's a good one. And then
The last one is thoughts on this McLaren as a starter car, and it's like a kid in a
we can post that
little
picture.
toy one. I say go for it. Start them young, because I didn't give a shit about cars growing up, and now look at me.
Yeah, look at you now.
Should probably go down to the bottom, huh? Or are you just picking the ones that you picked out?
I kind of picked out some of these because I thought they were really all-star.
Is that true, Chris? Did you pick any of these out?
He picked out,
I picked out half of them.
Half of them.
and there's only 3. I don't know how he did that. I'm always concerned. I should have read that first. I'm always concerned about having to deal with out-of-state speeding tickets. Curious if you guys drive any different when you take your cars out of state. Quick answer: no. I just drive I drive the same all the time. I've had out-of-state tickets. I just call them, pay them.
Yeah.
I mean, but I drive the same.
I'm trying to think of a time where I've driven any of my fast vehicles that I've owned outside of state, and I don't think I have. So I'm normally driving, like if I'm driving out of state, I'm usually in my truck, which I'm not driving very aggressively or quick or what have you. I'm driving pretty conservative and normal. So in that way I do. I guess when I drove the SF90, it was somebody else's and I was in Florida, and I absolutely drove it the way I would my own car here in Texas. So it's a little bit of both.
There's only like 2 or 3 states that really hammer you for driving like an asshole.
I know Arizona's one of them.
Yeah, it's Arizona, like Georgia. Maybe it's Georgia. I'd have to check, but there's like 2 or 3 states.
I don't know. I don't fucking pay attention. But
Yeah. For the most part, I mean, I just fucking drive and enjoy myself.
yeah.
On this other question, I have no clue, so that's all you.
Is anchor clanker a term of endearment between Navy personnel? Reading a Brad Thor book, and a former Navy EOD calls a former SEAL a fellow anchor clanker. I'm going to level with you. I've actually never heard that fucking term, so I can't answer that. It sounds like it probably is, but I'm using my context clues like I did when I was 9. But I don't know. I've not heard it. Glad you liked Unfuck America. I appreciate it. And thank you for your support from both of us. I'm speaking for Matt now.
Yeah. We appreciate you. All right. What the fuck? Matt, what is your favorite thing about Mike? And what is something you don't agree on? Huh. My favorite thing about Mike's he listens to my dumb shit when I'm going through troubles, and he's one of the only people I can talk to pretty freely about anything, and he don't judge me. What don't we agree on? I don't know.
I mean, I'll answer the same thing, I guess. Very similarly, like just, the level of friendship that I have with him is my favorite thing, because there's very, very few people that are in that category that I feel like I could trust with anything. And he's absolutely in that category. To me, that there's no big ticket items that I think that I can think of that I would disapprove or disagree with. They're all very nuanced, and like asking a question about something and in the media, or what a president should or shouldn't do. Like we may have a differing opinion, but I wouldn't say that like we disagree with each other on it really. But
I've never left the studio or your house or my house and been like, man, fuck that dude.
Yeah. Really? Because every time I leave your house, that's how I feel.
Well, I text you that. Fuck you, man.
All right, this one's, I guess, for me. When delivering a personal protection dog to a civilian customer, how much time and training has to be done to familiarize the owner with their new dog? Well, I'll tell you what, buy one and you'll find out. No, I'm kidding. Usually 2 or 3 days, and they're really long days. It's a strange transaction. It's very intimate, and it's unlike really anything else. Shy of maybe, like if you're remodeling somebody's bathroom, like, you're in their fucking bedroom, you're in their house, for days at a time, and, you're seeing the inside of their personal life and what have you. And so that's kind of similar that way, but this way even more so because it's adding a family member. When you're remodeling people's bathrooms, like they're usually not usually, I mean, they're not part of that process. Like, yeah, you're in their house and whatever, but they're usually gone or in another room, or they've taped off that part of the house and they're the fuck out of there. So it is weird. And that, you're sitting there, like you're adding a family member, you're interacting with people. In many cases, I stay with them. So I'm in their house, sleeping there, seeing them, as they go to bed, first thing when they wake up, that's weird. It's very abnormal and not a typical business transaction that you would have really in any other circumstance. And so with that, like, it's 24/7, it's 3 days from the time you fucking lay down at night, or from the second you wake up in the morning until the time you go to bed. For me, it's working, and it's being very conscious of what's going on and paying attention to everything. I will say, like, doing it is mentally really fucking exhausting. When I'm done with a delivery and on my way home, it's just like I'm fucking really smoked. But anyway, that's kind of the gist of it. Like I said, 2-3 days, sometimes maybe even 4. There are times where it's shorter than that, but it's very rare. Mostly it's 2 or 3 days. But
go to a different question, but I have a question about that.
Yeah.
So when you're staying with them,
yeah,
do you ever get hungry and go to their kitchen and get like cookies and shit like that?
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: if I'm in your house and you say, "Hey, make yourself at home," I absolutely fucking will. I will eat food out of your fridge and I'll make myself fucking whatever. I mean, I made myself a steak in the middle of the fucking day when nobody else was eating at this last place.
Fuck yeah.
I mean, yeah, if you say, hey, my house is your house, I'm not one of those tiptoe around. Like, I'm not going to fucking take my socks off and put them on the fucking kitchen table, or put my feet on the table. But yeah, I mean, like, if you tell me, help yourself, I'm going to fucking help myself.
Yeah.
I've been doing it too long to not do that.
What's the worst I can do? Take a little bit out of it. Have you guys ever seen or heard of Singer Porsche, and what do you think of them?
Never heard of it.
I have not heard of it
Shit,
either.
I got to look that up.
Yeah. What is that? Hey, Thomas, what's that Porsche that Alan has? Gunther Works. That bitch is bad. That Gunther Works Porsche Alan has. But that's not a Singer Porsche. I don't know what that is.
So the car comes with a price tag of $1.8 million, and we think it's worth every penny. Porsche 911 DLS by Singer is probably the most beautiful thing. Blah blah blah. It looks like an old 997.
Looks like the Gunther Works almost.
Yeah. For me, it's not my style. Based on an '89 Porsche 964. It's part of a 75 unit limited production run. I don't like older cars. Yeah. I just don't. Like, I appreciate, especially when you see an old American classic, a 60s muscle car, late 60s or early 70s. Like, I appreciate those. I think they're fucking cool. I don't want one. I don't want to work on one. I don't want to build one. I just don't really have any desire to fuck with it, because I just like the engineering that is current technology wise, and what that comes with in terms of being able to exploit that on the road is what I'm interested in, and that's what I like and appreciate. But I think it's cool, but I would never fuck with it.
Yeah. The Gunther Works Alan has is one of those cars. I appreciate everything that went into it. It's not my taste because of the age, but I love everything about it. Like, I love looking at those and appreciating the craftsmanship, the work that went into it.
Yeah, I'll gawk and appreciate one at a car show, but I would not buy one.
Alan has a damn signature about him. Everything, it's white and red.
Yeah,
every fucking.
That's cool.
This is going to be the last question. What does the gas price in your area look like, and does the skyrocketing gas price dictate how you drive your cars? Well, seeing as how we're a little late on this question, well, not too bad. Gas price right now are about $3.89 for regular. I think it's $4.29 for premium.
Shit, at least.
I don't know. It was like $60 to fill half a tank in the piece to the other day.
Yeah.
And no, it don't dictate the way I drive the cars. While y'all hear about me talk about my daily, I do want more fuel efficient out of my daily. That's my daily that I use for work and everything else. So when I'm thinking about work, it actually has to make sense for me to make money and things like that. So yeah, I care a little bit about savings on my daily cars, even though I did have a TRX and a GT500, but those were kind of testing the water. But my weekend fun cars, the motorcycles, things like that, I don't get into them and think about the fuel 100%. I just think, while it does piss me off if I go on a run and it's 130 miles and I use a tank of gas,
yeah,
that
McLaren.
does aggravate me, but it's not the cost of the fuel. It's the, damn it, I was just at the gas station.
Yeah.
Because I hate going to the gas station, not the cost. We go into these cars, or at least I do go into these cars knowing they're not cheap to drive around. Nothing about them is cheap. They're fun, and that's the price we pay, or I pay for fun. I don't know about you on that.
Yeah, same. It does not, because I drive them to enjoy them, and even though I've put as many miles as I have on the ones that I've had, it's not keeping me from driving it. I will tell you that. I don't drive it any less or drive it any different. What would be your solution to the increasing gas prices nationwide? For me, that's real simple. Is just bump up production here, and it should stay that way. To me, that's you're seeing unfold in front of our eyes how big of a national security issue energy is. Whether you want to be green or not is irrelevant. The fact is that right now our nuts are in a vice collectively because of the shitty policies that this administration has put forward. I mean, that is a fact. Mm-hmm. And no amount of saying that Putin's fault. Even that statement to me, like I'm baffled. I mean, if I was a White House press corps journalist, I would say, okay, so if you're saying that gas prices are Putin's fault, I've also heard you say that gas prices aren't your doing, right? They're not your fault. You hear this all the time, like when gas prices go up and there's not a world war going on or potentially a world war going on, you hear, hey, I don't have anything to do. Like I'm one man, like I can't keep gas prices from going up or whatever. So if you as the president can't, how the fuck can some other country's president dictate what our gas prices do? That's number one. Number two, even if we're giving you the benefit of the doubt saying that it is his fault, why the fuck are you as the president putting our country in a position to allow some other country's president dictate what the price of gas is here in this country when our entire fucking economy depends on it? That is a weak, shitty fucking position, and to me unforgivable for somebody in our government, especially at that level, to put us in that position if that's truly the case. And I would say in this case, that's actually accurate, is that you've put us in that position. So I would open the Keystone Pipeline and I would allow federal drilling everywhere it's possible. And I would invite all of the leading private sector energy experts. I would bring them all to the White House and say, let's work together and collectively figure out how we can ramp up oil, natural gas, wind, and solar energy production in this country as fast as possible so that we don't depend on any other country for any type of energy. There's no reason we shouldn't have already been doing that, but especially in the last 30 days, that should have been the first fucking thing that he did. And the fact that they're still sitting on their hands and saying, yeah, it's not our fault, it's going to suck, deal with it. The fact if you still vote for incompetent dipshits like that, you get what you deserve. you know, and that's fucking $5 a gallon gas or higher.
Preach.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd do the same thing. That's the best answer you could give.
Well, I mean,
I disagree.
I rehearsed it. So
People have been waiting for that, so I disagree. I think gas price should be higher. Oil should go for $250 a barrel, and
I will say that, you know, we're not the only ones that it's not affecting, because I tell you, there ain't any less traffic around here.
No.
Like, there sure as fuck is nobody not driving out and about right now. So
they're just driving around looking for cheaper gas.
I mean, goddamn.
That's all they're doing. Well, that's it for this episode, guys. You got anything else on this?
Man, I think we covered everything.
Yeah. So we kind of did a little bit of hybrid stuff, a little Q&A with some topics. We appreciate it. Make sure if you want to ask a question, go to ask.uninfluenced@gmail.com. Tune in to all our stuff. Guys, go give us a review on iTunes and all that other stuff. We appreciate it. Peace, bitches.